Okay, welcome to class. A little bit of technical difficulty this morning. And, just good reminders, right? The path is always what's right in the present moment, what's right before us. So, um, if you could find a comfortable seat or come to your back and just find some stillness. What I would like to ask you this morning is if you know what you want, if you know what you need today, what are the desires or what is the particular desire of your heart? And what might be getting in the way for you in having realizing the desires of your heart? Sometimes the interference or the blocks are external in our environment or in the way we set up our environment or the way we find the environment we find ourselves in. And sometimes they're internal. So are you dealing with any external blocks, external interference? And are you dealing with any internal interference? So, as I've been visiting here in this environment with people that I don't normally um, spend time with, to be honest, I've had a couple of people really pressing me about what yoga is. Oh, it's a religion, isn't it? It's a religion. And yoga certainly can hold a space for us in our religious beliefs, our spiritual beliefs. And it can certainly be a portal to understanding those beliefs more strongly or deeply, or revisiting those. Um, but yoga's not, yoga doesn't say you have to do this and you have to do that. Yoga's really a way of having a deeper conversation with your body, and through your body, a deeper conversation with yourself. So as we move into practice today, please um, put the external interference somewhere, put it in a little box, wrap it up, set it outside the door. Explore the inner interference and see if you can come to a place of accepting and living with or moving with or dealing with that and continuing to practice anyway. Yeah. So we'll start as we often do on our backs. And we'll start in Shavasana. So just let your feet fall out to the side. Let everything be in a receiving mode. Arms out to the side, palms up. And here, just take a few breaths to allow some dropping in. Some melting into the floor, into the earth. Coming into some stillness, especially here if you have a lot of internal interference, which I do right now because I couldn't get on with you this morning through Zoom or internet connection or whatever's going on here with me in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I have a lot of internal interference and I want to calm that, let it be and calm it. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. And then reach your feet away. Pull your toes back towards your shins like you're standing in Tadasana. Reach your arms overhead and stretch in both directions. Then you might press through one heel and reach through the same arm, and press through the opposite heel and reach through the same arm. And just move back and forth with that pattern. So today's class was titled Beginning Again. And of course, when we really stop to think or realize or understand, we're always beginning again, right? We're always have a new start. And sometimes when we consciously, now bring your arms to a T, bring your knees, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to the floor, and just let your knees softly move back and forth. So when we can very consciously say, I want to begin again, I want to have beginner's mind, I want to start this process again so that I maybe pay more attention or bring my awareness to something different or something new. We, of course, get new insight. Next time your knees are to the right, leave them there. Make a box with your arms. So bring opposite hand, opposite elbow. And then you might slide a little bit to the left, opposite the direction of the knees. And take a few breaths here, just relax into this more still holding shape. And then as you inhale your knees up to center, exhale your knees to the left and slide that arm box to the right. And so you're in a kind of an S shape with your body. And back to center. And now take your arms back out to T, bring your knees into your chest, and move from one side to the other. Move the knees back and forth. Just allowing for soft action. back and forth, one side to the other. And the next time your knees go to the right, reach through the left arm. Maybe even plant the left fingers and get a little bit of a stretch through left side of lower back, under the underarm. And then pressing into your arms on the floor, inhale the knees back up to center. Drop your knees to the left and reach the right arm away. You could turn your gaze to your right hand if that felt okay for you. Inhale back to center. Squeeze your knees into your chest and just slightly rock back and forth. Feel the ground beneath you. And then stretch both legs up to the ceiling. Press through your feet as if you're standing on the ceiling. And then inhale and reach the toes towards the ceiling. So point through the ankles and then just draw the feet back towards the shins. So back and forth. Just a few times here. Just extending the feet, and then bending at the ankles. Feel a stretch in your calves, Achilles tendon, and then bring your feet back to parallel with the floor, and then just make some circles with your feet. So circle the feet in one direction, and the opposite direction. And then back to center, turn the feet towards one another like you're doing a namaste, putting the soles of your feet together, and then turn the feet, soles of the feet away from each other. So towards one another, away from one another. Very good. Great. Now knees back into the chest, and then release your left leg to the floor. Keep your right knee pulled into your chest. Inhale, reach the right leg up towards the ceiling and just take it out to the right slightly. Just enough, keep the pelvis level on the floor, and then bring the right leg across midline. So you're just taking it out to the right and then across midline. And then if it works, feels okay in your low back, just circle the leg slightly like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with the bottom of your foot. And take that in both directions. And then back to center, interlace your hands behind the hamstring. Press your leg into your hands, pull back with your hand. Feel an opening, an even opening in the back of the leg. And release. Take your right leg down to the floor, either stretching long through that leg or keeping the knee bent. Now left leg up. And then left leg out to the left just slightly. And back to center and across your midline. It's not gonna be a big action. You're not gonna go all the way out to the left. Make sure your pelvis stays level on the floor. You feel both sides of the back of your pelvis as you move your leg back and forth, out to the left, across to the right. And then same motion here. Just take some circles as if you're painting a big circle on the ceiling with the sole of your foot. And go in both directions. Just scanning here on the floor. This is all about just seeing where we are right today. Then back to center, interlace your hands behind your thigh. Do the opposite grip, the one that's unfamiliar. Press your leg into your hands and pull back with your hands. And feel for an even opening in the back of your leg, even opening. And then release and take both feet down to the floor, soles of the feet, bending your knees here. And now just press into your feet and tilt your pelvis slightly forward. So you could put a credit card, if you had one, underneath your low back. Right, just a little bit of forward tilt in the pelvis. And then press into the feet and lift your hips. Draw your chin up towards the ceiling and just have your arms alongside your body, either right beside your body or out to a T. I kind of like about 45 degrees. Lift the hips and then slowly lower the hips back down, almost touching the floor, and then press into your feet and lift again. Keep looking up so that the chin is pointing a little bit more towards the ceiling than towards your sternum. And then let's do about 10 of these, just pressing into the floor, lifting your hips. Feel the work of your buttocks. And you might feel that you get all the way up to just resting on the upper back. And so as you lower down, feel articulation through your spine. So you're feeling into your spine, your spinal column this morning. How does that feel? Ah, good. A couple more. I lost track, so here we go. And then the next time you come all the way back down to the floor, just rest the knees together for one full breath. And then we'll roll to our side, to one side, and stretch your bottom arm out, resting your head on your bottom arm. Stretch your legs out, so stack your feet like you're in Tadasana. So we don't want to be in a hurry. And one of the things that we do when we lose beginner's mind and we think we know is we rush through a lot of things. So we're not going to be in a hurry here. We're going to take our time. So in this long position, can you feel, without looking, can you feel for whether you're piking at the waist? So line up your head with your pelvis. Good, and then draw your bottom side, sort of squeeze it up towards midline. Just feel for the side of your waist that's next to the floor. Feel that very engaged. Pull your toes back towards your shins. So there's brightness in the legs, and then reach your top arm up. Just reach your top arm up. Hold this, keep this balance, and then you might reach the top leg just up 4 inches. So legs are parallel, both feet, toes pulling back towards your shins. Just find your balance here. Find your balance here. And then you're going to just release your top arm back to the floor, right in front of your body, just to rest. And then you can release the top leg back and forth. So like swinging a pendulum motion. So you could release a little bit of the effort in your foot as you take the leg back and forth. Just a little swinging through the hip. Good. And then the last time, you bring the leg behind your back body, reach with your top hand to take your foot, and we'll open up the front of the leg. Opening up the front of the leg. Notice if you have any kind of holding in your neck, your face, can you let that go? Really release the work in the places that don't need to work. Great. And then release that and roll to the other side. Come on to the other side. Stretching through your body like you're a long arrow here. Toes pulled back towards the shins, resting your head on your bottom arm, and release the tension in your neck and your jaw. Okay, and then top arm reaches up, that's the first balance. Just top arm up, and remember your side waist. So the side waist next to the floor, can you feel engagement there? Good, and then you can just reach the top leg up, keep it parallel with the bottom leg, only 4 or 5 inches. So legs are parallel, feet are parallel, both the shins, the toes on both feet pulling back towards the shins. Good. And then just hold that, draw your navel in, so strengthen the core. Then the top hand can rest in front of you for balance, and you can swing this top leg back and forth a bit, really feeling into the hip. Maybe you've done a lot of sitting recently. I think we're all sitting more as we're sort of sitting waiting for all this COVID stuff to be over, election to be over. And great. Leg it back, body. Now reach back, bend your knee, reach back, and take your foot with your hand, top hand, and feel for opening the front of the leg. Opening the front of the leg. And then from here, we'll just roll right onto our tummy. Okay, and make a little pillow with your hands. So stacking one hand on top of the other. Legs straight out, tops of the feet onto the floor. And here, can you gather your core? So pull your navel off the floor. Pull your belly button off the floor. You can rest your forehead on your hands. I have my head up just to be able to speak to you. But now rest your forehead on your hands. Draw your navel, or try to draw your navel off the floor. Okay, and then from here, press into your arms and lift on the inhale. Just lift your head and shoulders and gaze right off the front of your mat, and exhale, lower back down. And inhale, press into your forearms, lift your head and shoulders, gazing off the front of your mat, and exhale, release back down. And let's do that 10 more times. Just a baby back bend to start. 10 more times. Take your time. We're not in a hurry. Not in a hurry. As many of you know, I'm here with my parents, and my dad is declining very quickly. And it's fascinating to watch him very uncomfortable in every present moment, always in a hurry for the next one. Very interesting, curious to watch. Although he doesn't want the ultimate last minute, he's very scared to die. Great, pressing in. And then the next time you lift up, hold this now and shift one elbow underneath one shoulder, opposite elbow underneath the other shoulder. So you come up into Sphinx. Good. Draw your navel up and in. Press your pubic bone into the floor. You could let your head go here and just let your chin move from your left shoulder to center over to the right shoulder. So back and forth, sweeping back and forth. And then you'll lower back down, but now take your arms alongside your body and rest your forehead on the floor. So arms alongside the body, palms up, and then reach through one leg. So pick up one leg and kind of reach through it, stretch it out, top of your foot to the floor. Reach through the other leg, top of your foot to the floor. Now draw your the tops of your shoulders up off the floor. Reach your palms towards the ceiling like you were pressing your palms into the ceiling. Lift your head and shoulders. Draw the navel up and in. Now lift both legs. Turn your palms down to the floor. And release. Come down, turn one cheek or temple to the floor and just softly let your hips move back and forth, releasing any tension in your low back. Good, we'll come back to center and we'll take the forehead to the floor. And this time you could keep your arms to your side or you could bring them, up almost to T. So a little bit more work for the back. And then draw the head of the humerus, draw your shoulder tops up in a way. Lift your arms, palms can be facing the floor here. Lift your head and shoulders. Lift your legs. Keep your neck long, keep your neck long. So the back bend is a long arching back bend, not concentrated in one place or another. Good, from here, sweep your arms back behind you and squeeze an imaginary block between your hands. And then lower yourself to the floor, turn the opposite cheek or temple to the floor, and softly rock your hips back and forth. And then we'll come back to center. We'll do one more. So now you could bring your arms to T. I just have to sit up to take my sweater off. So you could bring your arms to the T position, or you could bring your arms a little bit forward of your body, a little bit more work for the back. And then lift the arms. So you draw the shoulder blades in towards midline and down slightly. Then lift the head and shoulders. And then lift the legs. You might not have as much lift with the arms out here in front. You could even experiment with what happens as I bring them back. And again, I'm able to get a little more lift. It's a little bit harder with them out in the front. Good. And then listen carefully. We're going to sweep our arms back towards the hips. Bend the elbows without touching the floor. And then press the hands right underneath the shoulders. Press up to all fours. And here in all fours, slowly. Just move your hips side to side. Side to side. And then around in a big circle. Hips around in a circle. Oh yeah. So you'll come forward slightly and then drop back towards the heels. The hips just moving around in a circle. At some point, change the direction of your circle. Okay, and then when you come back to center now, just 2 or 3 cat-cows. So on the inhale, let your belly reach to the floor, bring your heart space forward and arch through the back. And on your exhale, press into your hands, round your back. Tuck tail in, tuck chin in. Just a few cat-cows like that. Take it slow, there's no hurry, no hurry. Never in a hurry. I can't remember who said that. That is a quote. And then coming back to center now, reach the left arm. Just walk the left fingers forward. Reach, 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 reach. You'll bend through the right elbow. Keep reaching through the left arm and bring your hips slightly back towards your heels. So right forearm is completely on the floor and the left arm is reaching forward. You could take your forehead to the floor here, or you could look towards the opposite direction of the outstretched hand, so looking over the right shoulder. You choose whatever feels nice here. So opening the outside of the left shoulder, under the left armpit, through the left side body. And then as you press into your right hand, walk your left hand back. Then slide the right arm forward, come to the left. Slide the right hand forward and come to the left forearm. And you can rest your head on the floor and reach the right arm away. Or you could turn and look to the bent arm, or you could look, I guess the bent arm is what feels nice. And then start to press through the left hand and come back. So we'll go a couple of times. So sliding the left arm out, coming onto the right forearm. And you can hold this for a couple of breaths, or you could slide the left hand back and sort of do more of a vinyasa. So you maybe go just one breath cycle, reaching the right arm long, reaching the left arm long. And then once you've done an even number on both sides, we'll come back to the tabletop position. And as you start to bring your hips back towards your heels, slide your right arm underneath your left and come onto your left, the right temple or the right cheek. So you're trying to really be on the outside of the right shoulder, get a good stretch through the outer shoulder. Okay, and then press into your left hand, sweep your right arm up, come back, drop your hips back, slide the left arm underneath the right shoulder. And here, opposite arm, you could reach the right arm forward, just like you just did, or you might rest it on your sacrum, or reach around for your left thigh in a bind. Any of those things. And then eventually you'll bring the right hand back out, slide it up, come back to all fours, and we'll do one more on each side. So you'll slide the right hand underneath the left, and decide what you want to do with the left arm. Maybe it might feel nice to reach around for the inside of the right thigh, you get a little bind, a little bit more of a twist here. And then press up, reset, slide the left hand under. And when we talk about, when we think about starting again, sometimes it can be kind of negative. Press yourself up, come to all fours, and just do a few rounds of cat-cow here to neutralize your spine and pelvis once again. So sometimes we think of beginning again as sort of a negative thing, but in fact, it gives us a chance to get down to basics again, whether that's basics in a movement practice or just the basics of who we are. It allows us to revisit our values. Okay, what's important to us? Good. And then bring your hands now forward just slightly, and just a little bit of forward tilt in your pelvis. Just a little forward tilt in the pelvis, so you have neutral spine to a little bit more of an arch. Turn the toes under. See if you can get 8 to 10 of them under, and then lift the hips and set your hips back, downward facing dog. Ah, good. You might bend one knee at a time here and just press the opposite heel down to the floor, stretching your calves, Achilles tendons. And then we're going to walk our feet slowly up to our hands. If you have a block or two, let's use the block for Ardha Uttanasana. So reaching the head away from the pelvis, lengthening through the back. Great, and then bend the knees, take your hands to your hips, elbows squeeze in as you press up and stand in Tadasana. Great. So here, just take a minute or two, a few rounds of breath in Tadasana. Feel your feet right underneath your hips. Good. Bring one hand to the heart center and the other hand to your belly. Close your eyes if it feels okay for you. And come into an even breathing. Inhale and exhale, same length, same volume. Gaze straight ahead. If you did have your eyes open, or you do have your eyes open, gaze straight ahead. So what are you wanting today? What is the desire of your heart? What is the desire of your heart? Okay, softly open your eyes, release your arms down to your sides so you're in the Tadasana pose. Roll my pants up here for a little visual. So now, standing in Tadasana, bend through, actually lift your left heel and just come onto the ball of your left foot. And then slowly let your heel back down. Okay, bend the left knee and come onto the ball of your foot. And take your left heel back down. Now, when you do that, you could have your hands on your hips here just to feel. So what we don't want to do is sort of, I'll turn this way for a minute. What we don't want to do is collapse, okay? Keep the legs firm and strong. Bend, just bend the heel, lift it, and then come back down. Now, same thing on the right side. So lift the right heel and just press into the ball of the right foot, come back down. Lift the right heel, press into the ball, and come back down. Feel the legs engaged and strong. Great. Now let's go back to the left foot. Lift the left heel, press into the ball of the foot, and then onto your toes. And then back to the ball of the foot and back down. Lift the right heel, press into the right ball, and then to the toes. And then back and down. And see if you can do this with just the movement in the lower body. So your hips aren't shifting back and forth, okay? So you'll come onto the ball of the foot, then to the toes, and then back down. And do that a few more times on each side. Okay, okay. So now let's go back to the left foot. So come onto the toes of the left foot. Keep your hips nice and steady, and then rotate the knee out to the left without collapsing the right leg. And then back to center. And then out to the left, and then back to center. So if you needed to have something here to help you balance, you could have a chair. Okay. The toes kind of turn out with the leg. Yeah. Okay. So now, notice if you're collapsed on the other side. If you collapsed on the other side. All right. So well, let's try the other leg as well. So you come up onto the toes and then rotate the leg out. So you have to kind of move your toes as well, right? So your foot isn't stuck on the sticky mat. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. Now let's come back to the first side. Come up onto your toes, externally rotate that leg, and then rest that foot on the other foot in Vrksasana, tree pose. Okay, and then release. And then come back to the second side now. Come up onto your toes, externally rotate the knee, or the hip, or the leg rather, and then rest that foot on the other foot in Vrksasana. And release. And then a little wider with the legs, and just move through the hips. Shake out the legs momentarily. Okay. And then come back to our Tadasana now. And on your next inhale, as you inhale, turn the palms out. Inhale, bring the arms up, palms facing one another. And on the exhale, you'll come back down, palms away, so that when your arms land down to the side, the palms are in towards your body. So the inhale will bring the palms out and up. And on the exhale, turn the palms to face away from each other and come back down. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, back down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Next time you inhale, bend your knees. So arms come up, bend the knees, and on the exhale, press the arms down and press your feet into the floor, straighten your legs. Inhale, bend the knees and sit a little bit, bring the arms up. Exhale, press the arms back down and straighten the legs, press through the floor. Inhale. And exhale. Simple movement. Let's just think about beginning this movement again, like we're learning it for the very first time. Inhale, sweep the arms up and the knees, palms face one another. Exhale, press the arms down, press into your feet and straighten your legs. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Now, bend at the knees. Bring your hands to your thighs. Could be forearms too, but hands to the thighs. And widen your stance slightly. And now do some cat-cows here. So on your inhale, draw the chest forward. Get the arch in the back. Spread your tail feathers. And on your exhale, round your back and come into cat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, round. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Now hold your inhale here. Press into your feet. Sweep your arms up. So now you're back to standing with the arms above the head. On your next exhale, allow yourself to side bend over, having the top arm reach over your head and the bottom arm touch the side of your leg. And then inhale, sweep everything back up. Exhale, side bend to the other direction. So think of the inhale as like the breath is like the wind. So as the wind sweeps you up and over to one side, and then inhale, sweep up and over to the other side. Feet are placed underneath the hips or a little bit wider here for good stability. And then just do one more on each side. Just make it even, an even number. Coming back to center now. Just come back to the Tadasana. Even out your breath. And here now, just for a minute, you might take one hand, the back of your hand to your sacrum, and the other hand to the top of your head. And feel for lining up the head and the pelvis. You might even experiment with what would happen if I rocked myself forward slightly, or I came back on my heels. All right, so find the center here. Pick up your toes, just your toes, and see if that allows you to engage the front of the leg a little stronger. And then just set your toes back down. And then try to pick up your heels, but they're stuck. Just try to pick up your heels off the floor, but they're stuck. And see if that might help you engage the hamstrings, the back of the leg a little stronger. Now front of the leg, back of the leg, engaged. Release your hands to your sides. Good. All right, from here now, we're going to pick up the right heel. Just pick up the right heel. Bend the left leg. Bend the left leg. And step the left leg back. Okay, so step the left leg back so we're in Virabhadasana 1. And then we'll inhale, straighten the front leg and lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, press the hands down to the floor, bend the front leg. Inhale. Exhale. So the same thing we did in Tadasana with the legs together, but now just the feet, the legs are in Vira 1. Inhale, straighten the front leg and reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, press the hands down towards the floor and bend through the front knee slightly. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now hold this position with the exhale. So you have the front knee bent, you have the back leg straight, and feel for an evenness of your legs, even pressing in your legs. You can take your hands to your hips here. Lean forward. Take the weight into your right leg, or whatever the front leg is, and just maybe take one step, momentarily balancing, to bring both feet together. And then stand up, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend at the waist and fold. And again, if you have your block, you could come into Ardha Uttanasana with the block. And exhale, fold again. And then hands to hips, elbows in tight, come up to standing. Good. Now we'll go with the opposite leg back. So we're gonna bend through we're gonna come up on, just lift the heel slightly on the front leg and bend that leg and then step the opposite foot back. Okay, so from standing, you could try it just to bending through both legs, shift the weight to the front leg, whatever the front leg is going to be, and pick up the heel of the other foot. Set it back. We're gonna do it one more time. Bending through both legs. So you're standing in Tadasana, bend through both legs to start. Shift your weight into what's going to be the front leg, and then lift the heel of the other foot. Set it back. Warrior 1. Nice transition, good. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, lift the arms up. Exhale, press the hands down and bend through the front leg. Actually, we'll do that the other way. So keep the front leg bent. Inhale, just to sweep the arms up. So we're doing the same thing we did on the other side. And then on your exhale, press the arms down and straighten the front leg. Inhale, sweep up, bend front leg. Exhale, press into both feet, press both hands down. Inhale, sweep up, bend front leg. Exhale, straighten your leg, press down through your hands. Inhale, sweep up, bend front leg. Exhale, press down. Inhale, bend your legs, bend front leg, sweep the arms up. Good. Now we stay here. Reach to the waist or the hands back, lean forward. Feel your weight shifted forward into the front leg and step either one step or two. Bring your feet together, stand up, reach up. Exhale, fold through center. Coming to a forward fold with your knees bent here. You could have the blocks here for your forward fold or a block. Good. And then inhale, lengthen. Feel the same stacking head and pelvis as you lengthen into Ardha Uttanasana. Great. And then take your hands to your waist, keep your elbows in tight, and press yourself up to standing. Good. Now bring your arms out to T. You're standing in Tadasana, bring your arms out to T. And we're gonna move the arms, we're gonna rotate the arms forward and then rotate the arms back. Rotate the arms forward and rotate the arms back. So what we don't want to be doing is just, I'll start from the T position, is just moving the hands. So you're not just rotating at the wrist. And you might even take a look with your arms out to T. Look over at your right arm, make sure it's coming straight out of your shoulder. Look over at your left arm, make sure it's coming straight out of your shoulder. So one's not in the back body or the front body, but they're nice and even. You're really making this nice T. And then rotate the whole arm forward and backwards. Everything in one line. Yeah. Good. And then from here, inhale the arms forward, back, and around. Forward, back, and around. Keep the legs strong. And if this isn't available to you this morning, bring your fingertips to your shoulders and just bring the elbows forward, back, and around. Forward, back, and around. But if you can, bring the arms forward, back, and around. Big circle. Good. And then the next time you bring your arms behind you, go for opposite elbow with opposite hand, or opposite wrist with opposite hand, or holding the hands, or just holding the back of your shirt, whatever works in your body. If you are able to get opposite elbow with opposite hand, firm your legs, keep your back neutral, and then can you take your arms away from your back? If you have your hands connected or your wrist to hand, you can try the same thing. Pretty challenging. So just a few breaths here and then release. Bring your arms out to T, crossing the right arm over the left in a hug. Take a big hug and just a slight twist side to side. And then back to center. Take your gaze over one shoulder. And back to center and over the other. Back to center, release. Arms out to the side. Opposite arm on top now. Big hug. Twisting through, or just a slight twist through your upper body. And then back to center. Turn the head in one direction. Opposite direction. Release, arms down to your sides. Okay, so now from this Tadasana, inhale, sweep the arms up. Bend at your knees as you exhale through center, coming into the fold, forward fold, with the blocks or the tips of the fingers on the floor. Pelvis tilted forward slightly. And then inhale to lengthen through your spine, Ardha Uttanasana. And then keeping your hands forward as you set your hips back, come into fierce pose. You can play with the arms up on one side the ears, biceps by ears, as you bend a little deeper into your squat. Hands can be forward, parallel to the earth. Your release will be to press the hips back up and set your hands down onto your blocks into a forward fold, a variation of forward fold. We'll do that a couple times. So we'll inhale as we set the hips back and bend the knees, bring the arms forward. Maybe you find a place where you quiver a little bit, which is good. And your release then is a forward fold. Or a variation of a forward fold. And then we set the hips back again, bending through the knees, coming into the fierce pose. And then inhale, and then coming into a forward fold. On the exhale, take one of your blocks or take your block. And now set your block between your upper inner thighs. Okay, if you don't have a block, you can bring your fist between your legs. And then setting yourself into a moderate fierce pose here. Okay, we'll take the arms out to a T and we'll twist to the left. Take the right hand to the outside of the left leg. So squeezing the block between your legs. If you don't have the block, you'd have your hand here, your fist here. So you're squeezing your fist. That's going to keep your hips or your pelvis relatively neutral. And then come through center and either just turn to the other side or put the other fist in between your legs and twist in the other direction. Should feel a little burny now. So we'll come back to center, press, squeeze the block, and come into a fold. If you have two blocks here, nice that you can fold onto the second block. You could also just rest your hands on your shins. And then release the block from between your legs. Heel toe your feet apart so that you can drop into a squat. Many options here. You could squat right onto a block. Okay, in any position, or come all the way down to a deep squat. I'm just moving my block, coming to a deep squat here. Pressing elbows into the legs, legs back into elbows. So feet lined up with this in the same orientation as your thighs. And then slowly dropping yourself down to your sit bones and finding a hip balance. So the knees could be bent, legs out. You could use a little more fierceness in the core by releasing the arms, drawing the navel up and in. You could straighten through one leg at a time, adding a little bit more fierceness. You could do both legs. Good. And then we'll slowly all take our hands behind the knees and we'll roll ourselves down to the back. Here, just waiting to pull the knees in. So keep the knees bent with the legs, feet on the floor, or reach the legs long. So we're gonna release the hip flexors. You could even take a block underneath your sacrum here. And if that was okay for your back, release the hip flexors there. I sort of need to go a little moderate here, right? Very good. And then draw the navel in. Draw the navel up and in like you're upstroking with the paintbrush. Bring right knee in towards your chest. and then lift and switch. So left knee and right leg out, hover, keep drawing navel up and in, and we'll just do a few of these, just really feeling the engagement of the core. You could also interlace your hands behind your head and lift your upper body if you wanted to do that. You could also twist towards the bent knee if you wanted to do that. You could do 108 of these if you wanted to do that. What's the desire of your heart today? And we'll eventually come back to center and set the soles of the feet back to the floor and stretch the legs long once more. Tadasana. Pull the toes back towards the shins. Great, and then from here, take the feet, soles of the feet to the floor as wide as the edge of your mat, arms out into a T, and again come back to this movement of rocking the knees or letting the knees move side to side. Side to side. And then the next time your knees fall to the right, you could take the right foot on top of the left leg, just opening a little bit more the top of the leg, the hip flexor, the psoas on the left side, if that feels okay. If it doesn't, just keep the right foot down on the floor and drive the left knee towards the right corner of your mat, bottom right corner. So whatever feels more supportive, no pain, no pain. We just work within the edges, awareness of the edges, but we don't want pain. This is not a practice about pain, this is a practice about healing. Good, and then you'll inhale to bring the knees back up to center, taking your knees to the other side. And the same thing now, you could take your left foot on top of your right knee, if that felt okay. This side might feel different. This stretch might feel nice on this other side. And if not, just slip the left foot underneath the right knee and keep it simple. Another variation might be to reach the right arm up and away, so you really are opening the right side body. Really, our bodies have the most innate wisdom if we're willing to be still and listen to them. Inhale the knees back to center, and now we'll take a figure four. So left ankle on right knee. You can bring your knees in towards your chest or slip your left hand in the space. Now feel the outside, the stretch on the outside of the hip. But if we're always in a hurry and we're always just got momentum carrying us through, we probably aren't paying as much attention as if we slow down in our day, some pause to check in. What are the desires of my heart, of my body? This is our home. This is first home. Part of the greater home, part of the earth, coming from the stars, part of the universe, part of the magic of everything. You can undo this, switch it up, take the other side. And just as you settle now, if there's anything else you need, take that for yourself. You are the wisest teacher. And as you're ready, stretch your legs out long and your arms out long for this variation of Shavasana. Maybe this doesn't work for you today. Maybe you'd rather be on your belly, or you could go to a wall and shift your legs up the wall. But allow yourself now to receive your efforts, receive your increased awareness. The in breath, the receiving breath. And on the exhale, you can let go of any extraneous, what will we call it? We won't call it space junk, because there's a lot of space junk now. We'll call it just earth junk, I guess. But let go of any extraneous things, thoughts, feelings. Soften your face, particularly the muscles around your eyes. Let your jaw release. So your lips are touching, but your teeth are not. And let the skin on your face just really drape down towards the floor. Soften your hands. Let your breath be soft. Not rushed in any way. Do you know what it is you want? Do you know what are the desires of your heart? Do you know how to begin again? Have a freshness to your day, to your moment. can remain on your back in Shavasana or come up to a seat as you're ready. And wherever you are, just place a hand on your heart space. And give yourself an internal namaste. Yes, honor yourself. Honor the light in yourself. The light that shines bright for those around you. The light that pulses outward and outward in ever increasing circles of connection. Extending gratitude to anyone who made this possible for you today to practice. May the merit of our practice encourage all beings to unveil the hidden brilliance that lies within all. Namaste.